Good morning, everyone. Good morning, evening, or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. We are so excited to be here with you. My name is Virginia Rivera, and I am talking to you from sunny Puerto Rico. I am so excited to have this first opportunity to have a session on one of the topics that really moves my heart, but I think also moves the world. Today, we're going to have a different type of session. We're going to be talking about women's economic empowerment. And I am so happy that IIU is opening up this platform because at IIU, we truly believe that women are the center of a lot of the activities that we do. I have to say that in my life, I have been a female empowerment coach for more than 10 years. I think that when we give the other side, the other half of the population, the opportunity to really live to their best ability, we will see a better world. I am here trying to make this work, so don't leave anyone. It is without a doubt one of the most exciting moments in a woman's world, in a woman's life, when she finally can decide what it is that she wants to do. Where does she want to contribute? And many times we don't see that. Here at IIU, we have reached more than 195 countries. We have more than 1,000 co-educators. We don't take education lightly. We truly believe that it should be accessible to all. We have e-learners all over the world, really focusing and honing their skills thanks to IIU. At the International Internship University, we recognize that the economic empowerment of women is vital for achieving gender equality and women's empowerment. It is a fundamental component that can bring about substantial positive change. The impact of women's economic empowerment and development is profound. So when we talk about this, we're not talking about thinking that women are better than men or that women should rule the world. We're really thinking that when we foster women's participation, everybody benefits, the economy benefits. Our founder, Mr. Piyush Pandit, definitely believed in this, and he still does today. He is not only an award-winning social activist, he is also a serial entrepreneur. He believes in the big ideas. He believes in innovation. He believes in bringing change. I think one of the things that moves me the most in being part of this great team is the fact that education will reach every corner of the world. Any person that wants to learn can do it. We are democratizing education. We're making it accessible to all. Economic security for women leads to transformative investments in their families and their communities. This creates a ripple effect of economic growth. Here at IIU, everyone is welcome, and we want you to feel that that is what we do. A few days ago, our founder quoted, "We will all be free the day that education is accessible to all." I believe that, and that is why today we are going to be talking about female economic empowerment or women's economic empowerment. Why is this important? The economic empowerment of women is one of the most fundamental components of achieving not only gender equality, but also women's empowerment. You will hear today female, women, woman, many times. And I have to tell you, and I invite you to really stay with me. We're going to have a very simple conversation of why it is key to every single person in the world to allow women and girls to live to their best potential. If women participated in the economy the same way men do, it would add $28 trillion to our annual global GDP for 2025. This is comparing it to business as usual, not doing anything. But you know what is really important? That this economic potential is highest in developing countries. Let's talk a little bit about what empowerment. And I think that we use empowerment so much. We talk about it, we mention it. I don't think we really understand the simplicity of it, but the power that it unleashes. What do we mean when we say empowerment? Empowerment means people having the power and the control over their own lives. I would really like for you to just look into yourself and do some introspection and really think, are you controlling your life or is something else controlling your life? I have to say, the moment that we understand that we are in control is when we're fully empowered. Of course, there are higher powers. Of course, there are political unrest. Of course, there's so many other things. But what you can control should be in your hands. When people get the support that they truly need to get ahead, then they are empowered. Empowerment means that people are equal citizens. I think this is a cornerstone of everything in the world. And most likely, it's when we're going to start to live in a world that is free, that is worthy for all, and that allows us all to be prosperous. When we are all respected and confident in our communities, we are being empowered. So economic empowerment is the ability to make and act on decisions. It means that you don't need to wait for anybody to come and tell you what to do because you are studied enough, educated enough, and savvy enough to take control of your financial resources. This is what we want for women also. In the United States, it wasn't until 1973 that women can get their own credit card, that women could actually get their own loans. That is still not accomplished in all countries in the world. But this is where we're walking to. It doesn't mean that women are going to be best or women are going to rule the world. It means that the other half of the world is going to have 100% of its full potential to contribute to the world that we live in. What does economic empowerment look like? What are the examples? This could be very well people that have resources at their fingertips, like we want to do at IIU, through education, through employment, health services, and giving them a sense of dignity and identity in a community where they can trust and they can grow. The truth is that we will never attain empowerment if we are not giving the resources and the tools to economically thrive. That is why IIU's platform, bringing virtual education, this model really brings the opportunity so that anyone in the world can have access to quality education. It's not comparing apples to apples. We're not like any other university. What we bring is an innovative platform. What we bring is solution to the world. And to women, it's God sent. To women that have so many other responsibilities, the fact that they could study at any moment in their day what they really need in order to get ahead, the skill set that is needed to really contribute out there in the world, I think it's priceless. What is an economically empowered woman? And what does that look like? First of all, she has control and she benefits from her economic gain. That's key. From her economic gains and most likely economic gains of her family. Women who are able to decide where, when, and how to spend their income to improve their lives, their families' lives, that is what really brings social and economic status, but mostly not only status, upward mobility. It doesn't mean that you're going to be a millionaire if that is not what you want. It means that you have the autonomy to make decisions on your family's behalf, on your behalf. And this is key. Where are we today? Let's think about that. Where are we today? Do we really believe, do we truly believe that we have given women 100% of the resources that we have allotted for men? When we raise our daughters, do we really raise them the same way? Or are we still thinking that our daughters are to be educated to stay at home and take care of the family. And our boys are given the opportunity to really thrive in the world. Please don't misunderstand. I truly believe that in our DNA, the majority of women have that nurturing aspect, the aspect that comes with being the only gender that can have children. And you know what's most powerful is that it's in our hands, in women's hands, to continue to bring humanity forth. But we're not treated that way. And this is not a female empowerment session, it's a female economic empowerment. But we really need to set the standard so we know where we stand. 388 million around the world, women around the world and girls live under extreme poverty. That means that their basic necessities are not being at this moment covered. That could be water, shelter, clothing, and food. When we think of education, which we all believe that is a human right, the truth is that more than 124 million women around the world will never have access to education. If we don't have access to education, we don't have access to economic empowerment. That is why, again, IIU brings something that's completely necessary in the world that we have today. It brings a solution to the four-walled university that is degree driven, but does not take into account all the other responsibilities the human or the actor or the person have, right? So we want to make sure that we know where we stand today as women. Women are less likely to work than men, and women's participation in the labor force is limited in developing and developing economies alike. So if we are in an emergent economy and a developing economy, our women are less likely at this point in 2023 to work less than men. Laws still restrict 2.7 billion women from having the same jobs as men globally. I want you to think about that again. 2.7 billion women are restricted by law in their countries from having the same jobs as men. So what this means is that they do not have the same right to thrive financially. In 2018, 18 economies still allowed husbands to prevent their wives from working. Sort of like, although we know that men do not own women or that husbands do not own their wives, it is still legal in 18 economies that men would not allow their wives to work. This is a very sensitive topic, especially when it comes to female economic empowerment. This is a conversation that has to be had. This is a conversation that really merits the time and the effort to see where the family is going. Just because a woman is a woman and she has children does not mean that she automatically has to stay home. It doesn't mean either that whatever she makes in her job because she needs to go out and work is going to be handled by her husband unless these decisions are made in a table with the family. So again, I do hope that this is not misconstrued as a feminist talk, although feminism is only looking for the same rights that men have for women. But this is a female economic empowerment session. So when we're going to talk about the economy of our home, it's not a one head, one voice, one brain. If it's a home with two people, it requires two people. As our children grow, we should definitely give participation to all members that are in that home. But if two people are carrying the household, those are the two people that should be having this conversation. In 104 countries, have at least one law impeding women's economic opportunity. I'm going to repeat that. Of 201 countries around the world, 104 today still have at least one law that will not allow women to really grow economically. This is why I think that this is going to be the first of many other sessions. We don't want to really cause any, I would say, disunion, but we want to make sure that every party that participates in all of our sessions realizes that they are entitled to that this is given to them, that IIU has a platform for every person. We have defined a healthy, empowered economic person as having three critical issues. One, access to income and assets. When a woman has a source of income, and that could be doing anything, it could be cleaning homes, it could be CEO of a major 500 Fortune corporation, it could be anything that she decides. It could be taking care of children, it could be picking the land, it could be harvesting coffee. It doesn't matter. But when women has a source of income, when they have a source of income, they are on the path to becoming healthy, empowered in their country. So when we have women that have no access to funding, no access to their own economies, we have women that live under the poverty level. And when we live under the poverty level, our countries don't thrive. So this is really, really interesting. When we invest in women, our communities prosper. When we invest in women programs, our communities grow. And when our communities grow, our countries grow. So when you look at a country that is stagnant, that is not growing, and that is corrupt, most likely this country does not have women in leadership, does not have women with employment opportunity. So as you can see, this is not a woman thing. This is an all of us thing. This is a humanity issue. Two, to control and benefit from economic gains. So women are able to decide where, when, and how to spend their income. When they do that, they see improvements in their social and economic status and the level of resources devoted to children. How many of us have seen a mother with 4 children and we know that she's in need? You see, most likely, this woman does not have an employment opportunity. She doesn't have child care assistance. She has 4 children. And we still think that this is just her job. There's an old saying that says it takes a village to raise a child. It means that a lot of us will at some point encounter that child who's going to become an adult. And we want to make sure that they have all the possibilities and all the resources to become the best contributor to the world and to their country. But the saddest thing is that more than 1 billion girls around the world will not have access to education. 1 billion girls around the world will not have access to education. So that is, to me, the biggest brain drain. That is where we lose talent. That is where we lose to grow. That is where we lose economic development, business development. If we keep half of our population marginalized, if we don't give them the tools to really prosper, our countries will not prosper. And then obviously our global economy won't thrive. So we have defined a healthy, empowered woman needs these 3 things. 1 is access to income. 2, control of and benefit from her economic gains. She makes decisions. I want to buy a home. I want to buy a car. I want to send my daughter to school. I want to buy books. I want to buy healthy food. I make those decisions because I work. And we're going to be talking about housework in a little while, because that is work also. And number 3, power to make decisions. Decision making is at the core of really feeling autonomous, really giving expression of agency, really realizing that you have the power to impact others. I spoke a little bit earlier about our founder, Piyush Pandit. I want you to really think about this person. We talk about him all the time. And he had the opportunity to really see and really put strategy behind his plans to really bring social justice, to work for others. The truth is, that just like Mr. Pandit, we all have that power within. Once we harness it, then we're empowered. It's not only for women and girls, but this is our calling because we know that we're still severely underserved. Women's economic empowerment is beneficial not only for the individual woman, but also for her children, for her household, and her community. There is strong evidence that shows a link between women's economic empowerment and foundational health. It means our health, how we take care of ourselves, including effects on nutrition, family planning, maternal mortality, and child mortality. Today, still, more than 10,000 women die each day during childbirth. Today in 2023. So when we ask a woman to bring children, to have children, to really nurture that womb so an independent human can come out, we're asking her to risk her life. Today, we see birth rates going down. And this is because when we talk about female economic empowerment, we're still not realizing that the work that a woman does at home and being a mother should have a financial impact. It should, but it doesn't. How many of you have heard, oh, she stays at home, so she has all the time in the world? I want to tell you that the hardest job is the one that does a stay-at-home. So this is really key. While more research is needed, a growing body of evidence indicates that increasing the share of household income controlled by women, so the more we work, we all work, the more money comes into our home that women have a say or can participate in. This may bring other benefits, including better investment in children's education, delaying marriage, so getting educated first, then getting married, and then having two educated people in the same household, and a reduction, and this is key and very important, in gender-based violence. I will not share statistics on gender-based violence today, but I can tell you that around the world, out of every 4 women, 3 have faced violence at home. So this is for another topic, but we definitely know that when women can work, when women can make decisions over the money that they make or the household funds, this really helps ending gender violence. So how do we achieve economic empowerment, right? Because definitely we've been talking about this, but I don't think we've really talked about what the impact is. How can we make this happen for us? And you will probably say, well, if it was so easy, you would not have 388 million around the world living in extreme poverty. Or if it was so easy, 124 million women would already be educated. Well, the truth of the matter is that to change traditions, it takes work. To bring innovative solutions, a lot of people will not believe in it. You know, when the internet started, very few people thought that we would be using this and it would change our lives. They thought it was something for scientists or for computer geeks. But nobody really thought that someday you would say, do you have Wi-Fi? We never thought that. But today we can't live without internet because everything we do revolves around it. Somebody was very empowered. Somebody that did not believe what other limits people put on them. Somebody said, you know, one of these days we're all going to be working out of our devices. We're all going to be able to see our families in other countries. We're all going to be able to network online. Nobody would have believed this when the internet started. Nonetheless, we use it today. So I want to tell you something that's really, really important. If your family or where you come from or your traditions at this point do not understand that empowering women really affects and has great positive impact in our country's economy, it's going to take time for them to understand. But you need to be educated first. You need to understand why you need to have access to education. Why, once you're educated, you can get a job that really will help you and your family move forward. You see, we really need you to succeed and thrive economically because that is what moves our country forward. I will never say that this is more important than family tradition and value. I totally agree. But it should be instilled in our value, respect for women, and most importantly, respect for the contribution of women other than cleaning. I think cleaning and domestic work should definitely be shared. It's not just a woman's thing. It's all of our thing. And I only have to say, there are women that are very good at it and they love it, and that's great. But not every woman, just like not every man was meant to be a provider, not every woman is meant to be a domestic worker. So, what do we need to do in order to achieve economic empowerment? I'm going to talk to women today, but this is for everybody. If you right now do not feel like you're making the wisest decisions on your economy, or you're not really at this point having the opportunities that you need in order to get ahead, you need to really think about where you're at and really assess what your skills are. What can you give to the world? And again, it's really interesting that IIU's platform is so intertwined with really bringing female economic empowerment or just economic empowerment. Because when you bring education to every room, every corner, every country, you bring the opportunity to succeed and thrive. So we have 5 reasons or 5 ways to really achieve economic empowerment. I'm going to go top of the line because it's very simple. I don't want to scare you on the first session, but definitely I think that it is key that we realize that being economically empowered starts with you. We make the decision to do. So number 1, we need to ensure that women are equipped to participate in the economy fully. So here I am telling you women need to go out to work or work from home or do whatever, or you know what, manage a household, but have access to the funds and make those decisions because women make good decisions. But we need to realize that they need to be equipped. So, many, many times I've heard my husband thinks I'm stupid. My father told me that I was dumb. My mother does not believe in me. All these are things that will really affect our self-esteem. But I have to tell you, everybody has the same capability to get ahead and to be equipped and to learn more. It's in your hand. So women are less likely than men to have formal bank accounts and take out loans. Like I told you before, here in the US in 1973, but we know that around the world, there's still countries that you have to come with your dad or your husband in order to have a formal bank account or to take out loans. That should not be happening in 2023. This is not a criticism to tradition. This is really an advice to help your household's economy and your country's economy. Even when women do have their own accounts, men might still make the decisions about how their funds are used. I think it's really easy to rely on somebody and say, well, you know best, you go manage the money and I'll manage the house. That's an agreement. It doesn't mean that, oh, you're a woman, so you're dumb. You can't really manage the funds. I can. No. When we make these decisions about I will do one thing in our household and you will do another, those are decisions that we make together. And they're not wrong. So if a woman and her husband or mate or her companion or the 2 people that are living in that home decide that one will stay and the other one will go out to work, they're both working. They're both gainfully employed. Because we need to start thinking that what we do at home has a value, a financial value. This is a chip that has to change. We're just not at home doing nothing. We are managing a household. And if you're lucky enough to be at home doing nothing, just nothing, I want to invite you to really explore your talents and see where those lie and what you could do with them to really meet. You know what? If you have so much money that you don't need more money, use the talent to raise funds for a non-for-profit organization, raise funds for women's shelter, raise funds for an animal shelter. There's so much you can do with your talent. You see, we were all given a divine contribution that we have to make in the world. We all know what that is. The thing is that many times we don't feel that we can do it, or we don't know, or we haven't discovered it. Even when, okay, women also lack access to other financial services like savings and insurance due to a lack of financial education. So we will definitely have a financial education session where we'll talk about the very simple terms, but access to insurance. You drive a car, you should be insured. You have a home, you should be insured. The home is not yours, but the inside, everything that's inside, that should be insured in case of flood, something happens, you are protected. But a lot of people don't even know that that is available. So that is why education and financial education is to everyone, not just women. In some countries, women aren't allowed in 2023 to open a bank account without a male family member. So you see, we've grown, but we really haven't grown that much yet. We still have so much to go, and it's such a long journey. But that is why we're here today. And even if there are two people watching this, I feel that my mission and IIU's mission is to educate, is to bring the tools that everybody needs. And that's why we're having this conversation. Number two, we need to enforce policies and social protection systems for women. So we know that countries have all these laws that protect women. But if they're not enforced, if the citizens of that country are not enforcing it, if the government officials are not enforcing it, might as well not have it. There's no point in having 20 laws that say that women can go out, women can work, women can have bank accounts, women don't have to get married, women don't have to have children. If those are not reinforced at the government level, at the policy level, and they're not reinforced by the citizens, might as well not have it. And that is what we see in a lot of countries today. On average, women today earn 50 to 75% less of what men make doing the same job. Okay, so I'm a bus driver and he is a bus driver. When I find out how much he is making as a bus driver, doing the same thing I'm doing, coming with the same experience, coming with the same education, my fellow bus driver, who's a man, is probably making $25 an hour. But I am also a bus driver, just like him, with the same criteria, and I'm only making 12 because I'm a woman. Because someday I'm going to have kids. Because someday I'm going to get married and want to stay home. These are all the reasons that they say. But you know, that is not legal, and that should not happen. And if it's legal in your country, then wake up and realize that you are part of a solution. And if in your home you are needed, you need to be there because there's nobody else to care for or do. Then remember that this is gainful employment. But out there, when women get paid, they still get paid 50 to 75% less than men. That does not even the plane. For families that can't afford to miss work or to care for their families, childcare is a game changer. So I have 3 children, and childcare is really expensive if it's private. Public is a lottery, and I don't have cousins or aunts or grandmothers that can help me. This is where the majority of women stay stuck, even if they were educated, even if they could get ahead. At some point, you're going to make this analysis. You're going to say, well, if I have 3 kids and I have to pay childcare, and each child is $600 to have them cared for. So we're talking about $1,800 a month that I'm probably not going to make that working, or I'm going to make a little bit more. So might as well just be with my kids and stay home. That's a decision. That's an important decision. But that decision has a financial retribution. You need to talk to who you live with and let them know that you are impacting because you're giving your time to raise your children, but that has a financial result. So it's really important that it starts with our mindset. What I do at home has value. When I decide to stay home and take care of my kids, I'm adding value to my household. And that is financial value. That's very important that you realize you're just not home doing nothing, or you're just home because you were not educated. No, you have made a decision with your partner that you are going to do this. And to me, it's really important that you understand this in order to be a woman that's economically independent. So flexible work, right? So 5 years ago, flexible work sounded like something that was not going to work. And then the pandemic came and we all had either to do remote work or we all had to do flexible work. So when we have flexible work, we make arrangements that benefit the workers. And if these workers are women or men that take care of their kids, then you will not lose that talent. They will continue to work with you. They'll continue to grow with you. But you will have very talented employees. That is why flexible work is key. Also, we need to balance out the domestic labor burden. Right now, okay, let me explain this again. Domestic labor burden. What that means is that right now, 70% of the women around the world are the ones in charge of the domestic area at home. We assume that because they were born with ovaries, they're women, that is their job. And we don't do it. We serve our kings, we serve our men, we serve our sons, we serve our brothers. I have to tell you, the labor should be shared and collaborate. So when we provide childcare and we share the domestic labor and we provide paid maternity for women, we allow poor women, especially poor women, to work and to continue to prosper. So this is the one I was talking about. We want to recognize unpaid labor as work. I'm going to repeat this again. We need to recognize, in order to attain economic empowerment, we need to recognize the unpaid labor that is done as work. Unpaid care includes household duties, often carried out by women, but doesn't have to be this way. We can all contribute. That's the cooking, the cleaning, the water and fuel collection, childcare, and elder care. This is not just women's work. This is all of our work. And if we as women have stayed to do it, then we need to put a value to that work. So we understand, everybody is under the understanding that my contribution to my household is as important as his or her contribution on the outside. We are working in this together. And that is when we inject a value, then we become economically independent. It is estimated that 16 billion hours are spent on unpaid care work every day. 16 billion hours are spent every day by women around the world in unpaid work. Unpaid care and domestic work contributes to countries' economy. So that's why it's really important that we realize that this could impact your country. Number 4, we need to invest in women's organizations and businesses. If you know that your sister is opening a business, your sister-in-law, your friend, don't go over to her and ask her to give you something for free or give you a discount. Support her endeavors, support her entrepreneurial spirit, support her business. So these are really important things. There are various organizations, grassroots women's organization, and grassroots mean from the citizenship, from the people that live in that community at the community level. They're organizations and movements that are underfunded and under attack around the world. I'm the president of a women's organization. We are 65,000 women around the world. And our main goal is to help women attain their financial autonomy. I'm not trying to make them millionaires. I don't want them to make more than their husbands or less. I'm not trying to disband a home. I am trying to make sure that when a woman becomes a widow, she's taken care of. That when a woman decides that she's not going to get married, she has the power to do that. When a woman has been abandoned by her husband, she is not powerless. These are the things we see every day. And women's organizations work with women to help them attain their human rights, because women's rights are human rights. So it's really, really important that we realize that at this point, there's so many organizations out there like my own who are there to help women get ahead. But we need funding. We are so underserved. We need people that want to work at this, because it's not for us. It's for everyone. It's for every person that lives in this planet. Nearly 70% of women-owned small and medium businesses in developing countries are financially unserved or underserved. So that means that when I have my business and it's doing well, when it's time for me to grow, that bank will not give me a loan because I'm not married or because I didn't come with my dad. So we need to change that. That needs to change, but we also need to continue to support these. Women are also less likely to be entrepreneurs and encounter more obstacles when they're trying to put their businesses, just what I said. Many times we're not understood. Why do you want to go out there and do what? Why do you want to go on your own? Well, the majority of times we do it because of flexibility for women. We do this because we need to take care of our moms, dads, children. And so we decide that we want to have our own business, so we have our own flexibility. I have to tell you that it's not really supported yet. So I am talking to you today. I want you to be an entrepreneur. I want you to realize what your talent is. What is that experience? What you can give to the world in order for you to make money and help your household, help your family, help your children. Investing in women's ventures helps pave the way for the next generation of women. So I just want to tell you something that it's not a secret, but it's terrible. Only 4% of the global funding for startups goes to women. Only 4%, and that has to change. Number 5, let's create decent work for women. I don't know if I can stress this enough. We really think many, many times that women are expendable. And I hate to differ, but I need to remind you that women are the ones who have children. So if a woman decides that she's not going to have children, we would not have a humanity to think of for future generations. So we need to make sure that we are taking care of our women and making her job a job that's dignified and decent. Women are more likely to be employed in the informal labor force and are overrepresented in domestic work. So when we look at our households and who cleans, most likely the majority of your help or the people that you are hiring, and make sure that you're paying them well, are women. So in the service industry. So we need to make sure that not only is this job a good job where she can actually grow, but it's also a job that will pay her a fair salary. A fair salary is one that when she gets paid, she can pay for her basic necessities. I think that many times we don't see it that way. And the employer feels that they have the power of their employees, and they even scare them or intimidate them, making them think that if you can't do what I'm asking you, then you'll lose your job. And an informal job is one that is not legal. What that means is you cleaned my house, I don't pay your taxes, and you took the money and you don't pay your taxes because it's underrepresented, it's informal, it hasn't been officially registered with the country. So in the majority of the countries, I would say almost all of them, when you start a business, you're going to register that business. And let me tell you, when we register a business, we officially exist. And when we officially exist, the government knows. And when the government knows, no, they're not there to charge you tax. They're there to help you. So you can go and participate in governmental programs that will help entrepreneurs, but you need to be registered first. And many times, yes, ask your brothers and your cousins to help you with the business, not to eat your business, not to ask for cheap things or free things, but to help you run. And that is important. Also, women must receive equal access to education. I can't stress this enough. We are today speaking from the International Internship University platform. And I have to say that education brings training, brings new skills, new technologies, management position, benefits like health benefits, and the opportunity to be an entrepreneur. So I can't stress enough, women that you're listening today, brothers that have great sisters that are not getting educated, have them be part of IIU, but or any other educational system, because education brings equal access, brings upward mobility. And I don't want to say that it's the only way to get ahead, but it's 98% of the way to get ahead. Once you learn, nobody can take that away from you. Once you learn something, nobody will ever be able to steal you. They can't deprogram. Once you know, you know. And that's workplaces also need to be free of sexual harassment and violence, safe, up to health standards, and promote equal pay. So we spoke about equal pay. The man makes this, the woman should make this. We're the same, right? Also, health. We want to make sure that we have masks and there fumes, things that in a factory, that we're being protected. And we should ask our employers to do that. Also, safe. Are there open edges? Are you working with knives and having the proper disposal, the proper way of cleaning it? Are you in a restaurant and right now you don't have sanitizer? Like, you need to work in a safe environment. And sexual harassment. This is a very important topic. And just because we're women, we're not created to be harassed by anybody. Just because we're women does not mean that we are a magnet to hands. Just because we're women does not mean that you should feel comfortable talking to me in a lewd, disrespectful way. So when we guarantee decent and dignified work for women, we are empowering her financially, because she will stay and she will grow and she'll make your company prosperous or her own company prosperous. But when she makes her own company prosperous, she makes her community prosperous. And when she makes her community prosperous, she makes her country prosperous. It's a circle. And we all need to make sure that every person has access to these tools to economically thrive and be successful in their life with their community. When women have more employment and leadership opportunities, businesses are proven to grow and be more effective. Communities prosper and countries become more efficient for all their citizens. I have to say that this is my favorite topic in the world. And I am so grateful to the International Internship University for giving me the opportunity to speak on this platform and really educate on what female economic empowerment is. I want to thank also from the bottom of Mr. Pandit. Mr. Pandit, time and time again, has expressed how he believes in equality, how he believes in that women should have access to education. And when we speak that IIU is the new solution for education, it's the way of the future. It's really where you have more than 1,000 teachers when you have millions of e-learners that are your colleagues, when you're in more than 195 countries, this is really opening up the scope. This is really creating up. This is really allowing all of us, not only women, all of us, to be economically empowered. I believe in this platform. I believe in this revolution. I believe that for all of us to make this planet a better planet, we all need to have access to it. Take care of our planet comes about knowing what we do to harm it. That comes with education. To eat and be healthy comes with education. So you know what you should be. It's not only about math and science and books. That's an important part, but it's the skill set that you will get to thrive anywhere. So again, I want to thank you all for the great opportunity to be here to share with you my thoughts on female, and not only my thoughts, I think that most importantly, the opportunity to really share with you facts and figures around the world of where we're at and what we're doing. It is key for all of us to realize that we are an important component of this world and that we should all contribute to it. Thank you. Have a great day. See you very soon.